Do you know if your mother's home?
She should be. She usually is.
Where's your house?
A lot farther on. Hyatt Lane. It's the last house before you get to Elmwood Drive.
Oh, I know.
If you'd like to come over sometime, I'll play our opera records for you.
Okay.
You ever heard Renata Tebaldi? She's the greatest soprano in the world.
How about this Saturday?
Okay.
Junk Food Dinner 701. Your boys have 3 strange films this week. First, school children ponder a nuclear war in Ladybug Ladybug. Then, Burt Reynolds and the Wacky Racers are back in Cannonball Run II. Finally, an evil corporation wrongs a pair of divers in Mermaid Legend.
Oh, come on. It'll be a weekend you'll never forget.
Welcome to Junk Food Dinner, episode 701. This is the podcast where each month we scour the internet, the theaters, and the bargain bins, searching for the weirdest and wildest cult films in Juggalo, Ohio. I am Kevin Moss, and I'm joined by the weirdos from the West Coast, Parker Bowman in the 559, and Sean Byron in LA. This month, we look at 3 films that really couldn't be any more different. We've got Ladybug Ladybug from 1963, Cannonball Run II from 1983, and Mermaid Legend from 1984. But first, homies, how's it hanging?
Oh, I'm hanging in there currently, Kevin.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same.
You know what?
Same.
I was bummed. I found out that the Gathering of the Juggalos, which is happening, I think, this weekend, is no longer in Ohio. It was north of Columbus for many years, out in the woods of Ohio. It's out in Missouri now. Fucking Missouri, taking the Gathering.
I guess everybody in the state's going to have to update their license plates because the state motto, as far as I knew, it had been home of the Juggalos up until now.
It was quite the treat because, even with it being miles outside of Columbus, if you were anywhere near Columbus that weekend, you would inevitably see somebody with clown makeup going into a gas station or, last time I was I was just, driving back home from Columbus, we stopped at one of these Wawas or Casey's or whatever, Sheets, one of these big gas stations. The place was just loaded with juggalos, and you love to see it.
A great time to be a roadside meth dealer,
That's right.
That whole local economy has now gone to shit now that they've fled the state.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder why the governor of Ohio didn't consider tax incentives to keep the Gathering there,
Yeah, there were some backdoor deals for some clown love. But
so they went where? To Kentucky, is that right?
Missouri.
Oh, that's even worse than Kentucky, right?
Well, it was in Illinois, I think, for a long time. Cave-In Rock, Illinois. Then it went to Ohio for probably a decade. Now they're in Missouri. They're just jumping around plots of land in the Midwest.
Never Michigan, though. That's kind of strange. I mean,
I'm sure the first ones were in Michigan.
Detroit itself, not probably going to, work out for this kind of a gathering, but they got woodlands, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. You just need a big plot of land where you can just get lawless. Never been to a gathering. Have you guys? I would assume no.
No, but I've certainly witnessed some of it on YouTube, and looks like it smells real bad.
Definitely smells. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What is the most memorable moment in gathering history? Is it the time that Tila Tequila got rocks and shit pelted at her for 30 minutes?
I think that's certainly the most infamous. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Sad to have missed it.
It is always funny looking at the Gathering of the Juggalos lineup because there's a handful of legitimate artists that I'm like, why are they there? You know what I mean? Some it'll be some fairly credible hip hop guys or
House of Pain. You'll be like, you can do better than this. You should at least be at the fairgrounds, right?
Yeah, but hey, whatever. I guess a gig's a gig.
Yeah, I think there's usually like wrestling, I think, involved as well, and you'll see
stand-up comedy. I know Gilbert Gottfried did it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is always surprising though to see like, oh, that's actually like a real person with a career that was willing to stoop this low.
Yeah,
but oh well. Well, R.I.P. Ohio Gathering. I'm sad for you, man.
Yeah, I remember Kurt Vonnegut was there before he died.
That's not true.
He was just reading to the crowd.
Everybody's spraying Faygo on him while he says, "So it goes."
I was just trying to think who the most unlikely Midwesterner to show up would be.
I thought it was weird that year that they had the film tent and the King's Speech premiered at the Gathering.
That's right.
Is this really the right venue? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're coming more and more west, so maybe we'll get our chance soon, Sean.
No, those guys are... I think Violent J said he's going to give it up soon, playing live. It's getting too old.
Is that right? I don't believe it.
He's been saying that for a while, though.
Well, I know that he gave up the moonsault. He's no longer doing the moonsault in ring.
What about Faygo Moon Mist?
He's never going to give that up, man. I think his blood is 40% moon mist at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what have you guys been doing other than going to the Gathering of the Juggalos?
Oh, you know me, Kevin Moss. I'm just, laying low, avoiding the stench. We talked about it a little bit off air, so I won't bore you guys with it too much. But still smells bad over here. Smells real bad. Tough to sleep.
It would probably be a nasal refresher to go to the Gathering of the Juggalos from your situation.
At this point, probably. I would imagine, the Gathering not going to be, the rosiest affair, but probably better than, 300 plus million pounds of rotting food.
Yeah. That sounds awful.
So that's
300
going on.
rotting kid cuisines.
Yeah, you can smell the little penguin mascot just decomposing in the sun.
All those fish sticks.
And on top of that, water mains are exploding all over Los Angeles. I think there's been 5 in the past week, which is weird. That doesn't usually happen. Maybe 1 a year, but 5 is kind of strange, all within a week. And I think Bowman and I talked about this a little bit off air last week, but I've been trying to train this cat to poop in a box. I got this cat who, pretty much lives with me, and it would be nice if he would poop inside so that I could leave him indoors, And good news was after the show last week, almost as if he had heard me and Bowman talking about it, I let him into the house. He marched straight up to this litter box that we've had in the house for a full year, took a nice big dump right in it. It was beautiful. I was over the moon. Wife couldn't believe how excited I was for this dump that this guy dropped.
Maybe I know it smells out there, but maybe you do need to get out of the house a little bit more. If that's
I know. Trust me, this was an improvement over the outdoors. And things have been going okay, but I'm sad to report, like last night, he did decide, I'm just going to piss all over the place. And so he did that last night, like outside of the litter box, just kind of by the sliding door window thing.
Did you tell him that you can't piss on hospitality?
I should have, yeah. We'll watch Troll 2 next time he does it. But so ups and downs with the cat, but I'm pleased to report I did, as I reported on Discord, I achieved a life goal of seeing Warren G perform after a minor league baseball game.
Oh, man. What was the minor league team?
Oh, you guys aren't following the Long Beach Regulators in the Pioneer League this season?
No, I didn't even know about the Pioneer League.
So debut season for the team, and I think for the league itself, maybe. There's been a lot of like reorganization of the leagues. This is a non-affiliated league. Like it is, I guess it's MLB affiliated, but the teams aren't directly affiliated with any teams.
Yes, we have the Frontier League out here.
Yeah.
The Florence Yalls.
Yeah, one of those kind of deals. And the Long Beach Regulators are co-owned by Warren G. So
that's wild.
It's a lot of fun to go to the games, man. And I've been following the season from afar, like watching their Instagram and stuff, and been really, wanting to get down to a game. and was really thankful that I got the chance. It was a blast, probably the most fun I've had at a baseball game in a long time. Everybody comes up to a G-Funk classic. It's all
Nice.
It's all Nate Dogg and Warren G and Snoop and Dre and everybody, Lady of Rage, all the greats. And, to hype up the crowd, they play the little drop of, Regulators Mount Up, and everybody shouts Mount Up.
Mm-hmm.
And, just a lot of fun. And he seemed to be having a great time. Team is doing great. They've, I think, got like a 72% winning percentage or something. They're definitely going to be in the playoffs. So I'm sure that we're going to go back and see him again.
Beautiful. Yeah, like I said, we've got the Florence Yalls out here, which may be the worst team name in all of professional baseball, but
yeah, certainly it doesn't hold a candle to Regulators.
No. There is a story behind it. There's a water tower that's in Florence, Kentucky, that said Florence Mall, but because it was right by the Florence Mall. But then they found out it was illegal to advertise a commercial property on a government water tower. So they had to change it. And so instead of just writing something other than mall, they just changed the one letter to y'all. So it says Florence Y'all. And people thought that was cute. And then they named the whole baseball team after it. And their mascot is literally an anthropomorphic water tower.
I think that is cute. Probably the only team that has a water tower as a mascot, I would think.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll let him know Sean Byron thinks it's cute.
All right.
What about you, Bo, man? You seen any minor league baseball or anything in your neck of the woods?
No, I haven't seen any of the baseball, but I did see something major. I saw a major motion picture at the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
I saw this movie, The Odyssey. Have you guys seen this? Have you heard about this?
Based on Homer's Odyssey, is that right?
Yeah, it's Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that story.
This guy, Odysseus, he goes on an Odyssey. Now, some people call him Ulysses. I'm not one of those people. I prefer the original Greek to the Latin.
I'll grant you that.
I appreciate that. This movie, I thought was like, this is my Letterboxd review, so I'm sorry to recycle it, but this is like the best way to sum up how I felt about this movie is like, Christopher Nolan made those Batman movies, and like it was very like apparent that he was like ashamed of comic books and probably like never read a comic book and like was like ashamed to be doing a superhero movie. And that's the way that the Odyssey feels, but about like Greek mythology, because like he really just like downplays the monsters, like the gods might like not even be real in it, like.
But at least it's very Greek. Like there's a lot of Greek actors and Greek, talent involved behind the scenes as well.
0 Greek actors.
Oh, okay.
Mostly like dudes from Boston, and also everybody has like an American accent, even the English people in the cast. So not Greek by really any stretch of the imagination.
But they do put feta cheese on their salads.
Well, they eat cheese in one scene, but I think it's like a mild cheddar. I don't even think it's feta.
What the fuck? That's not historically accurate.
I know, it's pretty ridiculous. Have you guys seen this, though? You not seen it?
I've heard of it. I know that it exists.
Yeah, I have also not seen it. Don't really have plans to see it. Not a huge Christopher Nolan fan in general. Don't really have a ton of interest in the Odyssey in general. And I certainly don't have any interest in spending 3 hours in the theater unless I'm watching,
Savage Streets twice.
Yeah, like back to back. Monster movies or something.
I also don't want to spend $30+ to see this thing, and that's the price of an IMAX ticket these days. And
oh yeah,
there's been all this marketing that leads me to believe that the only way that I should see this, if I care about movies and I have any respect for myself, is IMAX. And it's like, I don't know, I've hit a limit where it's like, for $30 I could get 2 tickets to a Long Beach Regulators game. You know what I mean? Like there's better ways to spend my money.
Well, I was talking to a couple of friends who were debating because like the closest place to see a genuine 70 millimeter IMAX experience of this is actually in Indianapolis. And they were looking to get tickets and it was sold out for like the next 2 weeks. So if they wanted to get tickets, they had to wait like 2 weeks to see it and drive to Indianapolis. And I was like, yeah, no thank you. And like you said, probably pay $30 fucking.
Yeah.
Like, no thank you. So yeah.
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 And I mentioned this in the Discord, but I really do get kind of bothered by this release strategy where there are multiple different versions of the movie that you can't really tell which is the, official version of the movie. When people rate this on Letterboxd, I don't know, are they rating the IMAX version or the regular 35 version or what? And it is like a pretty massive difference in how the movies look. Like they are framed very differently depending on what, aspect ratio you go with. So maybe that's me just being too much of a nerd, but I'm just like, it's frustrating as a consumer. It's like, give me one movie to watch, not like all these different alternate cuts. And then what, you expect me to watch this multiple times? That's another thing that really frustrates me these days is like, I see all these YouTube videos promoting this where Chris Nolan is breaking down all of the aspect ratios that you have to see this movie in. And it's like, I don't know, this feels like the Marvel Studios homework of like, you got to see a bunch of shit when you just want to have a little bit of fun at the theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is that like all the shots are pretty much just like close-ups of dudes' faces, like we've talked about. So like, there's like 2 or 3 really like wide shots of dudes walking around like islands, in the Mediterranean, but mostly it's just like inside a guy's house or like hanging around in a cave. Like, there's not much to see in this movie, so I think probably all formats are fine. But it is like a little ridiculous to make a movie where like it was all filmed on IMAX. So like I imagine that, IMAX or like the IMAX 70 millimeter is like the quote unquote correct way to see this. So like 2% of the people who see this movie between now and the end of time are going to watch the correct version. Like I don't think people should be like Curry Barker and do an obsession and make a movie specifically to be seen on TikTok, but like, I don't know, maybe make a version that people can see if it's your version, I don't know, make it so it fits on my TV at some point. Like,
I think I missed this about Curry Barker and Obsession.
Yeah, well, everything in Obsession is like framed in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
Like everything's centered
for safety.
Yeah, so it will look good on TikTok and like go like everything will go viral. And I mean, it worked for him, but yeah, all the action happens right in the center of the frame throughout that entire movie.
Yeah, maybe that's why movies composed for widescreen don't even look that good anymore. Is like, I feel like it's kind of a lost art when everybody's looking at their phones in vertical orientation now. It's like, I guess we don't care about, aligning images on the 1/3 of the frame or anything like that.
Yeah.
Any good trailers ahead of the Odyssey? Did they run maybe like a new Dune trailer or anything like that?
I know there is a new Dune trailer, but I haven't watched it. They showed a trailer for this movie called like Other Mommy, which is like a horror movie with Jessica Chastain where she's like a mom, but she has like an evil ghostly doppelganger that looked kind of spooky.
Is she also a werewolf?
That remains to be seen. That might be like a third act reveal.
Okay. I'll check in on that movie when it's revealed to me that she is a werewolf.
But other than that, yeah, no, like there was like a Spider-Man trailer, but nothing too crazy.
All right. I bet Kevin Moss saw some good stuff in the theaters. He always does.
He usually does, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a few things in the theater. As far as new movies go, I saw Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass.
Oh,
you familiar with this?
The State Boys, yeah, of course.
Yeah, written by Ken Marino and David Wayne, and directed by David Wayne. And yeah, there was a lot of guys from The State and Wet Hot American Summer in there. And yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's just the typical David Wayne, absurdist kind of comedy, but it's kind of a take on romantic comedies, kind of a take on The Wizard of Oz, kind of a take on just just like I don't know, comedies in general. But it was fun. It was a lot of laughs per minute. I laughed probably harder than I had in a while. Harder than I laughed at the new Jackass movie, I'm sorry to say, which I also saw in the theater and was just okay. It was fine. It felt like, they definitely were just trying to wrap it up, and it felt half-assed at best. But it was fun seeing some of the old school And like half of it was stuff that was in other Jackass movies, but there was a few things that had like never been officially released before from the old days that were pretty fun to see, and some of the new stuff was all right, but
how
overall,
much of it
was kind of meh.
How much of it is from those new guys that they tried to wedge into the last Jackass movie as if there was going to be like a new generation of these guys that anybody cared about?
Barely any. They're just there in the
Thankful.
background for the most part. I mean, it's really just celebrating, the history of Jackass and like the legacy, and they make several references that like this is in fact the last one. And I think Johnny Knoxville in general just kind of wanted to have one last like official last one. And it is essentially a clips show and best of package, but I don't know. It did feel pretty half-assed, but nevertheless, those movies are always still fun to see in the theaters with an audience.
All right. On that Gail Daughtry, we see that ham hog or what?
Ham is in it. There is a ham sex scene, but no ham hog.
Oh man, talking about missed opportunities.
Yeah. But other than that, I saw The Matador. You ever seen this movie with Antonio Banderas?
I don't think so. Tell me about The Matador.
It's from the 80s. It's before Antonio Banderas came to the United States. It's Spanish language. It's like super horny, erotic thriller about a bullfighter. And
it's Pedro Almodovar, that guy.
Yes. But yeah, Justin showed it. Never seen it before. Looked really good. It was a good one. And then I just saw Army of Darkness on the big screen.
Oh, I've heard of that movie. Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. Righting the wrongs of never getting to see that on the big screen when it was originally released in 1993, despite desperately wanting to.
Was this your first time then seeing it on the big screen? Can't be.
It can't be. I'm sure I saw it maybe at a drive-in or in a horror marathon, but it was the first time seeing it just on its own, as its own thing. In a cool theater, the Plaza Theater in Miamisburg, Ohio. Shout out to them. Got some hamburger wagon beforehand. Shout out to the hamburger wagon.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. I don't know anything about that, but the inclusion of the word wagon in the restaurant's name has me enticed.
It's a literal wagon, not even a restaurant.
Man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love this place.
Been around for over 100 years.
Okay, we're talking wooden wheels on this wagon?
Wooden wheels.
A wooden wheeled wagon.
Yes.
Slinging burgers. Yeah, man.
Yeah. They're little tiny sliders. They're crispy as hell. You can't get, I think I've told you about this place. You can't get any cheese. You can't get any toppings other than pickles or onions. That's it. No cheese, no ketchup, no mustard, no napkins. They're just throwing them into a sack, cash only.
What if I want no pickles? Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But you really need the pickle. They're the long, flat pickles. It sticks out like a tongue.
I don't need a goddamn single pickle anywhere near my burger, Kevin Moss.
This man will never eat a vegetable or a fruit. He's opposed.
I'll do a grilled onion. That's fine.
Well, I usually go no onion because they're not grilled. They're raw as hell.
What the fuck? Yeah, no onions then. That is bullshit. I think only Bowman is in favor of non-grilled onions on this podcast, right?
Yeah, I mess with that. I'm fine with that.
Damn, dude.
But they are the tastiest little sliders you'll ever have. And wolf down 3 or 4 of those bad boys. Watched Army of Darkness and had a hell of a time.
You can't get those at S-Mart.
That's for sure. I forget how short that movie is, too. The theatrical cut's 81 minutes. I walked out of there. It was still fucking light outside.
They cut out all the cave action at the end.
That's right.
Which is only, 20 seconds or whatever. But I guess they did cut out... there's more, right? Where he's hanging out at S-Mart again at the end, or...
No, that's still there.
That's still in there, I guess.
Yeah,
so it's just the cave, basically, that you lose.
Yeah.
But it was fun. They had a pretty packed, enthusiastic audience, so that was always fun.
Nice.
But
that sounds good. People weren't reciting the lines, though, right?
No, although
people were trying to Rocky Horror it.
No, not too bad. But of course, some of the more iconic lines, "Give me some sugar, baby," and all that. You heard some people audibly saying the line. Which, I mean, again, have fun, I guess, but it wasn't too intrusive.
That feels like one of the movies that would be most prone, maybe, to audience interaction.
Sure. No, for the most part, they were very respectful.
Well, that's good. When you're dealing with a classic like Army of Darkness.
Exactly. All right. Well, Bowman, do we have any voicemails so we can find out what the folks out there in Junk Food Dinnerland have been getting into this month?
Yeah, we got some voicemails here. This first one that we got is from our man Peter. Here it is.
Hey, Junk Food Dinner. It is Peter from Portland, calling with a bit of a backlog on some thoughts and comments that I wanted to share with y'all. So first for Parker, I love the stuff you've been talking about on the show lately. You talked about my man Ted Chiang. I absolutely love his stories. It was cool to hear him get mentioned. And you brought the Parallax View to the show, which is, I saw that a couple years ago and it instantly became one of my favorite movies. Something that you guys talked about a little bit, but I don't think you mentioned specifically that I really like is that there's almost no establishing shots in that movie. Like there'll just be a scene that starts and then Warren Beatty is, like wandering around a house and you have to figure out what the hell he's doing there. Mm-hmm. It was the perfect 4th of July movie. It was a very like dark and cynical pick and I loved it. Sean also loved Deer Hunter. In that episode, you guys were talking about movies that start with a really long wedding that doesn't seem super connected to everything, and it made me think of Melancholia. Also, you sort of talked about the idea of the Vietnam War just as a way for the elite to throw away surplus population and make a little bit of money in the process. And the documentary, The House I Live In, is about the war on drugs, but it says something really similar about the war on drugs and specifically going after methamphetamines, like after, you know, the inner cities had been hollowed out of, like young black populations. They still needed more meat to feed to the machine. And so they started ramping up rhetoric against methamphetamine use so that they could go after poor white, folks and the gay community and other populations that they hadn't decimated yet. Kevin, this week you are doing Ladybug Ladybug, which I hadn't heard about, but looking at it on Letterboxd, I'm very excited to see it, and to hear about it. Also, I assume that the reason you picked that movie was in honor of the passing of homophobic Senator Lindsey Graham. And if you folks don't know the connection between Lindsey Graham and ladybugs, I will leave that to you to Google. That's something I stumbled across with social media a couple days ago, and it ruined my day. Love you guys. Have a good episode. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, Peter, for calling in. Always great to hear from you. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Ladybug Ladybug. Hope you enjoy it if you do eventually get around to checking it out. But yeah, I have never seen the Parallax View. You guys were talking about that last time.
I think you would really like that. That's very much a Kevin Moss pick, I think.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. And it stars Warren G. So
that's right, yeah. He took a break from his minor league baseball team to make this movie.
But yeah, I'll check that out. And that documentary he talked about sounds intriguing. Depressing, but intriguing.
Yeah. Sounds like some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Might have fit in on this show, to be honest. All these heavy movies that we're covering.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Cannonball Run II, the heaviest.
No, yeah.
Pure poundage.
Shattering. Actually, about the Parallax View, I did want to follow up real quick about something that we were talking about on the show when we reviewed it, which was there was a bit of confusion about whether a location was El Monte, California, which is like a neighborhood in LA. It's on the east side of LA, kind of near me, or Texas. Turns out it was El Monte. And we were kind of confused as to like the depiction of El Monte as like a redneck, kind of like, you know, shit kicker kind of town. I did some reading on Wikipedia. It turns out that was the reputation of El Monte in like the 60s and 70s. It was like a weird kind of redneck enclave. It's absolutely not that anymore. Now it's predominantly Latino, but also partially Chinese. But certainly like no traces at all of rednecks there, which is why it was so jarring. But yeah, I guess that was really true to the time. So just
Now
a
you
little
know.
footnote. Yeah, footnote for your El Monte historians out there.
I was looking at
Yeah.
homes in El Monte, so now I know.
No, you weren't.
Well, we got another voicemail here.
Hit me with it.
Let me hit you with it. This one is from our man Eric in Nashville. Here it goes.
Junk food dinner. What's up, guys? It is Eric from Nashville. I hope you all are doing well, not dying from the heat. It's actually a cool 83 here today.
Oh.
Pretty nice. Couple things to mention. First, the movie Buffet Infinity. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that, but it's essentially that Fairsley Foods and Gibbons Market skit from Mr. Show. It's drawn out to a much bigger scale, but yeah, it's essentially like warring factions going at each other through commercials, and it's drawn out to like an hour and a half. Very well done, pretty unique. Check it out. Second thing was, I was having a conversation with my sister a few weeks ago about just like some neat tech things that we had in our house growing up. My dad had like this remote control that he had bought via mail order. It's like this little handheld device with a red button, and when he would press it, it would set off radar detectors for cars that were like zooming past us on the interstate. So we'd like see them hit their brakes and then just like crack up over the whole thing. I thought it was the most hilarious thing when I was growing up. I was wondering if you guys had any like quirky tech things like that as part of your childhood you thought were neat or get a kick out of using. That's it. Love you guys. Don't ever stop the show, and see ya.
Oh, thank you, Eric, for calling in. Always good to hear from you. All the homies calling in this week. Homies from the meetup. Yeah. Quirky tech in the house. We didn't have a ton. I remember my friend Brian, though. His family were notorious first adopters. They would get everything. Any weird tech, any weird video game system. They had Laserdisc, beta, whatever.
Neo Geo.
Yeah, 3DO.
Did they really have a Neo Geo? They couldn't have had
No, they had a 3DO, though.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And those were like $750.
Yeah, it had no games.
Yeah. But I remember they had a police scanner, which I always thought was fun. We would tune into that and listen to the police, channel and hear about who was getting busted.
Yeah, and you could actually, with a lot of those police scanners back in the day, you could, if you knew like the right frequencies, you could also listen in on cordless phone calls in your neighborhood, right?
I think so, yeah.
That was a big thing that I learned about through the Phone Losers of America zine that I was reading at the time. I think I was on the other end of the police, car scanner thing, the radar detector thing. I would have been in the car, in the passenger seat, not driving, but getting slowed down by Eric and his little gizmos.
Did you have a radar detector in your car?
We didn't have one, but I think at least a couple of my uncles had it. I feel like almost every one of my uncles had one of those. That's a big uncle device, I feel like.
Sure.
But no, my parents themselves were maybe just on this side of respectability, where that maybe was too depraved for them to engage in. But I remember riding around with people that had them, and it always fascinated me. I was always because I think they were like technically illegal, maybe.
Yeah.
You had to buy them kind of at like
county to county.
You get them at like a swap meet or something. You had to ask a guy. You had them under the table. Yeah,
the same guy that would sell you the illegal cable box.
Yeah, and the samurai swords and all that. We did have the I think we called it a red box. Mm-hmm. The illegal cable box that we had.
Nice.
That we were able to get, like the Playboy channel and stuff like this. This was after the divorce. My dad moved into a small apartment where he got one of those things and pretty much didn't leave the house except for work. And I would imagine he watched plenty of the Playboy channel when I wasn't there. But
oh yeah, I had a friend growing up who had his parents had the illegal cable box, and it was back in the day when like it would just unscramble pay-per-view, because like pay-per-view was just a channel. It wasn't like on demand. It was just like pay $4.99 at this hour and you can watch, Stand By Me or whatever. But they had a thing where it was just on like a regular channel. So we would just watch pay-per-view stuff all the time. Best Chest in the West. I remember watching that a couple times.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I ever had anything weird like that, like any like fancy technology. I don't know. One time we got like a really crappy computer that like could print out like old school like banners. So like anytime there was like any sort of reason for like a celebration, I would like make a banner for it, like Happy Friday, happy it's Ash Wednesday, it's Arbor Day. Like I was just like super into this printer.
This is back when printers had the paper that was kind of folded in like a long accordion style, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, dot matrix printing.
Yeah,
exactly.
The dot matrix.
Yeah.
So you can make because the paper was all like just one sheet of paper folded a bunch of times, you can make a banner like the length of your house, so I was just doing it for everything. I thought it was so fun.
I feel like that's one of the things that we've lost over the years that nobody really talks about is the ability to print, continuous banners. Nobody's got a printer at home that can do that now, but we all had that printer in the 80s. What the fuck?
Yeah. How are people getting their banners made these days?
Yeah. Am I supposed to go to Kinko's? That doesn't even exist anymore, I don't think.
Who is this generation's banner boy, Bowman?
That's a good question.
Well, very nice. And yeah, I haven't heard of this buffet deluxe that you referenced, but I like the idea of like two warring factions and their story being told over a series of like attack ads. That sounds like it could be fun. And I like that.
Was one of the best Mr. Show sketches.
Yeah, Fairsley Food.
Fun. Yeah.
All right, Bowman. Any other voicemails?
Those are the voicemails for the week.
Sounds like Kevin's not satisfied with 2 voicemails.
No, I love it.
That's a pretty decent tally, Kevin. You haven't been here on some of the lean weeks that we've had,
Hey, I just wanted to check. I didn't want to cut anybody off. But if you want to be like these fine folks and give us a call on the Junk Food Dinner voicemail line, please let your voice be heard at 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-5865. Give us a call. Let us know what you've been up to. All right, Bowman, let's get into a little bit of that old nerd news.
From the global resources of junk food dinner worldwide, it's time for Nerd News.
The first piece of nerd news I have is, Peter might have surmised that I picked Ladybug Ladybug for some obscure Lindsey Graham reference. It was actually because I've been on a bit of a Frank Perry kick lately, and it was kicked off by the release of this new Warner Archive collection Blu-ray of 1969 last summer by Frank Perry, written by Eleanor Perry. And this was a movie that we covered all the way back on JFD 373 in 2017, damn near 10 years ago. But it's a movie that stuck with me ever since. And when we did it on the show, we watched a fan composite version that had taken elements from like home video releases and some existing cuts that were cut out to make a complete version.
And you know who that fan was?
Who was that fan?
Kevin Monster. It was me. I was the fan.
Oh,
yeah. I made the composite cut.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, fan Byron. And but yeah, it's a great flick. It's it's about these kids on summer vacation on Fire Island. They're getting into mischief. They're discovering themselves. It's 2 boys, 2 girls. They're thick as thieves, but there's some sinister shit going on, and it gets really sinister towards the end. But it's it's a stark movie, but it's very impactful, very memorable. But it thought to be more or less lost in its complete form. But no, thanks to Warner Archive and thanks to Larry Karaszewski, the screenwriter behind such things as Ed Wood, The People vs. Larry Flint, and the 2 Problem Child movies, which I threw this in the Discord. He's doing a Q&A after a screening of what he's calling Problem Child, The Whole Bloody Affair. Problem Childs 1 and 2 screened back to back in 35mm in Los Feliz. So, Byron, You might need to get out to that and report back.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe.
But he is a big fan of Last Summer. He helped get some of these elements and restore them, including the most high quality print and camera negatives he could find to get the complete and restored version of Last Summer finally available on disc for the very first time. Through the Warner Archive, and it looks great. It comes in a cool slipcover, which is kind of rare for Warner Archive stuff, with a lot of bonus material, audio commentaries, Q&As that were recorded just a few months ago at some of the live screenings of this new restoration. Trailers, all that fun stuff. But looks great, and it's awesome to have this. And so, like I said, between this and The Swimmer, I've been kind of on a Frank and Eleanor Perry kick, and so that's why I picked Ladybug Ladybug this week. But also, just wanted to tell everybody, if you haven't seen Last Summer, and chances are you probably haven't because it's been hard to see for a long time, it is now fully available on Blu-ray through the Warner Archive Collection, and I highly recommend checking it out. Do you guys remember when we covered this back on 373? That was the episode with Wayne. So, and Parker, you weren't there.
Wow. I wasn't there, no, sadly.
Oh, so have you never seen this movie?
I have not, no. I like this Frank Perry fellow, so...
Oh, man, you got to see Last Summer. I guess there's never been a better time to see it, because, you don't have to watch part of the movie, via really crummy old VHS rip, because this movie was originally available uncut via its Allied Artists VHS release in, the late 70s. It was a very small run. Not a lot of those tapes survived, but that's how I first got my hands on this movie. I ended up selling the tape, but keeping a copy of it for myself. And I love this movie. I saw it at the New Beverly in 2017-ish. It was probably the same print that I'm guessing that they used for this release, or maybe part of it. But yeah, it's a dark movie, it's not like a super fun movie, but I think knowing what I know about Bowman and his enjoyment of these kind of explorations of dark psyches, I think he could get some enjoyment out of it.
I like the sound of that. I'll check that out. I think Larry Karaszewski must be a big fan of Frank Perry, because we were talking about this, I think on the show, but maybe off the show, about another Frank Perry movie that's being worked on to be released, cleaned up and get a high-res transfer dealie, is Play It As It Lays, which is a movie I like. He's working on that one too, so this must be what he's doing when he's not showing Problem Child movies, is just working on Frank Perry movies and getting them on Blu-ray. So I respect it.
Absolutely. I feel like that release of The Swimmer a few years back has kind of kicked off some interest in the guy's work. That
absolutely.
When I was growing up, nobody was talking about Frank Perry ever, but it is a director that you hear about now more.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I also wanted to mention, I watched. Did you guys watch that Bang My Box, the documentary on HBO Max?
I did, yeah, the Robin Bird story.
Yes.
I didn't know anything about her, really. I think I just kind of vaguely heard of that show, and I really liked the documentary. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, but between watching that and watching this Last Summer Blu-ray, it's been a real Fire Island month at the old Moss house.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. That's Fire Island in Last Summer.
Yes.
Okay. Before it developed its current reputation.
Exactly. Got to see the old and the new.
All right. Well, speaking of developing reputations, I got some nerd news for you guys, and it's from our good friend, and I put that in heavy quote marks, Neil Blomkamp, director of District 9 and Gran Turismo. He has unveiled his latest project. It is a 13-minute sci-fi short entitled Nightborn. Guess it's loosely based on a novel called Echopraxia. But the most notable thing about this is that it is created via Blomkamp's new AI startup called Barley Studios. Apparently every single shot in this 13-minute short was made entirely via text prompts that Neil Blomkamp typed into his laptop, and it's spit out this slop for us all. It is just kind of a test start, he said, to demonstrate what generative AI is capable of, but he does want to tackle a full feature in this format at some point in the near future. And I don't know, man. I did kind of skim through this just so that I felt like I would have, a right to have an opinion on it. But it looked like real trash, definite AI slop. And even if it didn't, even if it looked great, honestly, that would be worse news for me. The minute that the technology gets to the point where I can't discern that it wasn't made by humans, that's not like some point in society that I want us to evolve to. Like that's the end of all, human involvement in creative endeavors. So I don't know why anyone in their right mind would be working towards developing these technologies or promoting them. It feels very dystopian. So, strange move from Neil Blomkamp, a guy that made one good movie that we all liked and then a bunch of bullshit after that. You guys see this thing? You have thoughts about AI generative shorts?
It can eat my generative shorts. How about that?
Exactly.
That's my quote.
Exactly.
No, I didn't watch this, but yeah, I mean, I like you, I'm wholeheartedly opposed to it and all this AI bullshit. We talked about A24 taking money from Google to help, create AI tools, and I'm sure every studio is in cahoots working on some AI bullshit. And it sucks. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to try to avoid and boycott any AI stuff. And hopefully there's enough people making real stuff with real people, real craftsmen doing real lighting and all the real jobs that are required for movie making and still employing those people as long as that exists. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, just avoiding this shit as much as I can. And if it gets to a point where it's omnipresent, like CGI, where it's just in every fucking movie, that's just, I guess, when I stop going to fucking movies and just stay at home and watch Last Summer on Blu-ray all day. So, and I'm fine with that. But, it sucks.
Yeah, I watched some of this. I tried to watch it all, but it's like really boring and lifeless. So it was like, despite being 13 minutes long, it's like kind of a rough watch. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's obviously like horrible. That somebody like this would, like an actual like person who makes movies would endorse such a thing. So I feel hesitant to even like laugh about it, but it is funny to like watch it and like see all the weird, uncanny like valley shit like that goes on. Like as soon as it starts, like it's incorrect. Like there's the first shot of it is like a street intersection, and cars are just going like every which way. Like
yeah,
the cars are like going. The cars coming in from the left are coming in like in a way that the traffic going the other way moves through the cars, and like some cars just disappear and like.
Well, and most of the traffic signals have both the red and green lights engaged simultaneously, which that's not how traffic lights work.
Yeah, like there's that, and then like later on, like somebody gets injured and doctors are like cutting their clothes off and they cut them like backwards. And then like a missile hits a car while it's driving in one scene, and like it goes to a close-up of the car exploding and the car is parked suddenly instead of driving. Like I don't understand, like if you were like a serious artist, why you would put that out. And I mean, granted, he said like, oh, this is just a test to show what it can do, but it's like, why attach your name to like something that's like just fucking dog shit, like both ethically and like in the abstract and in watching it, it's just dog shit. Like
because he owns this company and he's trying to make money out of it,
Well, yeah, that makes sense. But Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense for a guy whose career peaked with his first movie, and it's just been a fucking downward spiral since then. I guess it makes sense that he would want to do this, but
and I'm sure that he will sucker in some idiots who are like, you know what, like for my, if you got like some backwoods MAGA YouTube channel and you want to have AI slop on there that tells you how immigrants are ruining this country or something, I'm sure that Neil Blomkamp's Barley Studios AI Gen app will be perfect for that. You know what I mean? Like, this will get use, and he will make money, and all of it will be shitty.
Yeah.
I call me crazy, but I just miss the days when AI was just for faking proof of life photos of U.S. congressmen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fooled by those jeans in the hospital bed for 1 second.
Yeah.
I miss the days. I miss the days when AI was just used to make silly songs about like what is it, like farting on your butthole or like on your TV hole. What was that song, Kevin, that you put in the Discord?
Oh yeah, I glued my balls to my butthole. Again.
There you go. Yeah.
I'll go even further back. I miss the days when AI was used just to give us like a funny British voice to use on weeks when Jennifer was too sick to record the intro.
Yeah, that should be the only thing people use it for.
That was ideal.
Well, here's something that is not AI, probably. Comic-Con's going on right now, and there's a bunch of action figures that have been unveiled, and a bunch of weird horror crossovers, and weird horror movies crossing over with wrestling things, some of which I thought was cute. There's going to be a crossover line where WWE guys cross over with monsters. They've showed a Kane that is also Michael Myers, so his mask is white and he looks Michael Myers-y. And then obviously the obvious joke is that John Cena is the Invisible Man.
Why are they fighting Dracula, for God's sakes?
No word on who will be Dracula. Those are the only two that have
it's got to be Vampiro, right? But I guess he's much more of a WCW talent.
Yeah, he's not a WWE guy. Maybe Danhausen. Although that's like really a little on the nose. But I mean, so is the Invisible Man one.
Oh, what was that guy Gangrel? It's got to be Gangrel. Remember him? He was a vampire.
That's true.
He had what?
He's
the
not a
brood. Remember Gangrel and his brood?
Yeah.
What's up with that guy?
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be other ones. Like, I wonder who the creature from the Black Lagoon would be. Got to be one of those. Carlito, maybe. I don't think he's around anymore.
Oh man, that's quite a racist statement you just made.
No, because what are you talking about? He's from an island.
Let's cut this one for racism.
He lives on an island.
Okay, all right.
He's tropical. His theme song was tropical. He wore shirts with little pools on them.
We all get it. And none of us have a problem with it.
He ate apples.
Of course. Yeah. And he's got gills, just like all of his type of people.
What? He spits in the face of the people who don't want to be cool. Just like the creature did.
We can't call that segment of society gill people anymore. It's not, not the 1900s anymore.
Well, speaking of that segment of society, another toy line. NECA is turning horror icons into samurai warriors. There's going to be a Scream ghost face guy looking like a samurai warrior with like an oni sort of a mask.
And again, in Japan, that's, kind of common.
Exactly. There's going to be a Leatherface looking like a samurai with like his, like normal Leatherface mask and a sword that also has a chainsaw on it.
Any Ninja Turtles that look like samurais?
No. There's also a Jason.
That's got to be the inspiration for this line, right? It's that famous Ninja Turtle samurai toy line that we all loved and coveted in the 1990s.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, I don't know how else you come up with two things that don't go together at all. But they look kind of cool. And then, of course, there's going to be, based on that famous commercial thing that went viral, where Chucky kills Liv Morgan, they're doing toys of like a 2-pack of Chucky and Liv Morgan for some reason, which is very silly. But what do you guys think about these? Do you guys collect any toys like this, like action figure type things anymore? Are any of these enticing to you? And also make more guesses about which monsters and wrestlers will be mashed up together.
I don't mind a good action figure from time to time, but I'll be honest, I do hate these crossovers, and I do blame the Ninja Turtles because I think they started this whole thing when they did the Ninja Turtles Universal Monsters crossovers back in the day, or like you said, like the Samurai ones. I mean, they were just printing money with those Ninja Turtles, so they couldn't make them fast enough, and they would just come up with any stupid fucking variant they could think of.
But it was cool when they did it.
It was okay, but they still do it to this day. They still make Ninja Turtles, and there's still a ton of crossovers. I just recently saw there was a Godzilla Ninja Turtles crossover where, like, you know, the Ninja Turtles were like also kaiju.
Should have been a Gamera.
Yeah, and they do all kinds of stuff. Like there's the Masters of the Universe wrestling crossover. I mean, you walk down an aisle at a Walmart or a Target in the toy aisle, you'll see a ton of these different ones. Like, and then you see it also in comic books. Like, if you go to the comic store, every other comic is fucking, you know, Thundercats meet Power Rangers, and it's like, what the fuck is this shit? So, I think it's kind of lazy and kind of a cash grab when they do this kind of stuff. Give me an original. Give me something, you know, go wacky for sure, but you don't have to just take two properties and smash them together.
Well, but what if there is a natural reason to do so? You know, like they both appeared in a commercial or something, like Chucky and Liv Morgan.
I don't know anything about that, but yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I actually don't know anything about that either. Was there a commercial or something that you said, Bowman?
Yeah, it was like a crossover thing that they did to promote the Chucky TV show. Like Liv Morgan like interviewed Chucky, and like they had like some playful banter, and then he murdered her.
Why wouldn't they just put her in an episode of the show? Isn't that a better way to get people to watch the show?
I mean, it was like a commercial thing. I think they showed it on the wrestling, maybe. I don't know. You know, I'm not in marketing.
Okay.
Also, maybe she sucks at acting.
Yeah. I feel like I've kind of switched interests in my older age where, I don't know, if I'm going to be spending money on something, it's probably going to be a poster or maybe a Blu-ray, but action figures, they bring me less joy. I think it's a issue of like displayability, you know, because I like to keep them in the packaging, but I don't know. At the same time, I think they look kind of cheesy, like thumbtacked up on a wall. And then, what are you going to like dedicate a bunch of shelf space to these guys? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they take up too much room.
Yeah, I got a few, like right here on the desk I'm looking at, I got Mossman, an original Masters of the Universe Mossman for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Does it still smell like Mossman should smell?
Yeah, he's still got a little bit of the stank on him.
Good.
I got a couple of vintage Battle Beasts. Remember those guys? Those are just little miniature dudes with the hologram. Yeah. Got a couple of those guys hanging around. I got a newer NECA King Kong. He's on my speakers. And I got a Godzilla, a little blind box Godzilla guy that I bought for like $10. That's what I'm working with currently, action figure wise.
Yeah, those are good. I've got a few. I've got my Max action figures. I got 2 of those guys and a couple of random like Dragon Ball Z guys and Freddy and Jason and stuff.
Nice.
Speaking of holograms, you guys remember those 1980s Tonka toys called Supernaturals that had like a
so much, yeah. I had so many.
I got one now.
Oh man, I had a bunch when I was a kid. They must have been like, you know, in clearance or something.
Yeah.
And my parents swooped them up for cheap because I remember having a gang of those.
I think the same thing happened to me. Is I think that they were on like super sale at KB, and we ended up with like 4 or 5 of them. And
yeah, they were cool.
I forgot they were even a thing until like, I don't know, 10 years ago. I ended up getting one. I have a Hooter.
Okay. I wouldn't remember any of them by name. Probably never even knew their names. I just knew it as like weird skeleton hologram guy.
The holograms were good. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how they created them, but they looked different than any other hologram that I've seen.
Yeah, they had serious depth.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, these dudes rule. I remember these guys. I don't know that I ever had any. Maybe I had one or something, but yeah, they're rad. I wish I would have had all of them because every single one looks cool.
Indeed. Where's that movie? Where's our Supernaturals movie? Or how about
not being generated with AI as we speak?
I'm sure we'll get a Ninja Turtles Supernaturals crossover figure eventually.
Damn, dude, these things are selling for money. Why is this? Why is everything expensive now, Kevin Moss?
Hey, man, nostalgia's a hell of a drug, and if they're rare, you'll pay what they want.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind, fleshing out my collection, but not at $50 a pop for an uncarded one.
Well, start hitting those garage sales.
I guess so. Damn, there was a Native American one? This guy looks sick.
Well, while we ponder what could have been with the Supernatural toy line, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into our first movie of the evening. That is 1963's Ladybug Ladybug. So stick around.
Nuclear war. Nuclear war. They're talking about nuclear war. Nuclear war. The nuclear war. They're talking about nuclear war. It's a motherfucker. Don't you know? They're talking about nuclear war. They're talking about nuclear war. It's a motherfucker. Don't you know? It's a motherfucker. Don't you know? If they push that button, your ass gotta go. It's a motherfucker. Don't you know? If they push that button, your ass gotta go. They're talking about nuclear war. They're talking about nuclear war. If they push that button, your ass got to go. They're talking about this nuclear war. They're talking about nuclear war. If they push that button, your ass got to go. If they push that button, your ass got to go. Gonna blast you so high in the sky. Gonna blast you so high in the sky. You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye. If they push that button. If they push that button. Gonna blast your ass. So high in the sky. You can kiss your ass. Goodbye. You can kiss your ass. Goodbye. You can kiss your ass. Goodbye. If they push that button. You can kiss your ass. Goodbye. Kiss your ass. You can kiss your ass.
Probably test string. I was at Roxbury School
No,
yesterday.
we had our test string this morning at 9:30. We have it at 9:30 every morning. That's not the regular test pattern anyway. It always goes white, yellow, blue, red, white.
What does the yellow one mean?
Manual says nuclear attack within 1 hour.
Welcome back to Junk Food Dinner. The first movie we're going to be taking a look at on the show this evening is Ladybug Ladybug from 1963. This is a movie, as mentioned up top, that was directed by Frank Perry and written by his wife, Eleanor Perry, based on They Thought the War Was On, which was a short story that was published in McCall's magazine, based on a true story of a California elementary school that this really apparently happened to in one way or another.
Maybe not the very end.
No. But the first, this movie, it's black and white, and it focuses on a elementary school in the early 60s at the height of the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis. And the school is equipped with a missile monitoring system. So if there is the threat of, a nuclear war, this thing would ring and alert the students. And this was a real thing. I talked to my mom, who was essentially the age of these kids in this movie. She would have been 10 years old in 1963. And she says, yeah, her school had that exact thing.
And I think I remember hearing from, I think it was Eric from Nashville, had a device where he could walk by a school and squeeze the trigger and these would go off,
Exactly. But yeah, most of the time it was just a drill, obviously, and all the time. And, kids would get under their desk and that kind of thing. And so at first, when this goes off, they think this might be another drill or perhaps a malfunction. But the alarm keeps going off, and the teachers and the principal is played by none other than Mr. Feeney himself, William Daniels, who, like I said, you might know as Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World or as the voice of Kit from Knight Rider. But here he is as a very young man playing the principal of the school. And he's desperately trying to get a hold of somebody to determine whether or not this is for real or if this is just a drill or a malfunction. But he can't get a hold of anyone. So they basically we got to treat this as the real thing. So they send the kids home. Some kids catch the bus to head home. Some kids have to walk to get home. And so the teachers lead these kids on a walk back to their homes. And it's, a fairly rural community with, back roads and farms, and kids are walking back with the teachers. And the whole time these kids are, and the teachers are faced with the potential reality of a, nuclear holocaust or, their own mortality or, just the idea of war in general. And it's clear that, these kids are kind of losing their innocence in real time as they contemplate what the future might hold and the violence that could befall them and their community. Some kids, one of the groups of kids has a bomb shelter, so a couple of the kids try to hole up there. Of course, it turns into the classic thing where there's infighting and not enough room in the bomb shelter for everyone that wants to get in there. There's also kids, just kind of paralyzed with fear, hiding under their beds while they wait to find out if this threat of, a bomb being dropped on their community is going to come to fruition. And yeah, I first kind of heard about this movie, like I said, it's got the Frank Perry connection, but how I first actually heard about this was I watched a YouTube video about movies that feel like Twilight Zone episodes. It was like, by like like a Twilight Zone fan who had put together a list of like different movies that, could spiritually be in the Twilight Zone. And I think that's very accurate. I mean, I think this does feel very much like a extended Twilight Zone episode, not only in the fact that it's black and white, it's kind of similarly shot in both its, visual style and both its tone, as well. It's from 63, which is when, the Twilight Zone was being made. So it feels time appropriate, but it also has that same kind of vibe of, the morality of the day and the, questioning of the human, who are the real monsters kind of thing. So it definitely does feel like a Twilight Zone episode. So if you do like Twilight Zone, I think you will find some enjoyment in this. It's got some cool people in it. Like I mentioned, you've got Mr. Feeney, William Daniels in there. You've also got,
by the way, also from the Parallax View, William Daniels.
Oh, no shit. Well, there you have it.
It's becoming a regular feature on the show.
You've also got Nancy Marchand is Mrs. Andrews, one of the teachers walking the kids home. And if you don't recognize the name, you might recognize her as Tony Soprano's mom, if you ever watched The Sopranos. So she's in it, and a couple other faces that you might recognize from, 60s TV or 60s movies, but mostly character actors. But I think all the performances are really good, especially amongst the kids who were all, from like the stage. They were, either like kids that had been on Broadway or different stage productions. And I think they all did a very good job kind of conveying the feel of both, being a kid, but also having this like new fear that you never had before and facing, grim thoughts of mortality and losing your life and the life of your loved ones. So, again, seeing these kids kind of lose their innocence in real time. I think it's shot very well. I think the black and white looks really good. I think there's, really good photography. But yeah, this movie wasn't widely available for a long time. It had played on TV. I think that's where most people saw it. It didn't really do gangbusters in the theater in 1962. I think it came out not too long after John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And so I think that clearly overshadowed that, and probably people weren't really in the mood to go see kind of a bummer movie in the theater during that time. But it did gain an audience on TV, but Kino Lorber put out a Blu-ray of it a couple years ago, which unfortunately has gone out of print itself. So hopefully either that comes back in print or someone else picks it up. But it is currently streaming on Pluto TV or MGM Plus, so you can watch it. It's out there on the internet. But yeah, I think it looks really good in its current current cleaned up form. And yeah, it's just, it's not the most fun movie. It is kind of a stark reminder of the horrors of war and, a capturing of that Cold War anxiety and fear that a lot of people felt. But like I said, if you like things like The Twilight Zone or things like that, I think it's worth checking out. And like I said, I've been on a little bit of a Frank Perry kick with the release of last summer and going back and watching The Swimmer, and I want to go back and watch more of his stuff. So I was psyched to get into this, but I'm curious to hear what you guys thought of Ladybug Ladybug.
Well, I was excited to watch this movie because I like Frank Perry. The Swimmer and Play It As It Lays are both fine films. And because of those two movies and me liking them so much, Frank Perry is officially in my highest rated directors on Letterboxd list that they aggregate for you.
Have you guys ever seen Diary of a Mad Housewife?
No.
Mm-mm.
From what I've been reading, a lot of people say that's kind of his masterpiece with his wife, because that was another one they teamed up on.
Yeah, I want to see that one. I've only seen Diary of a Mad Black Woman, the Tyler Perry one.
Yeah, which is a remake of Diary of a Mad Housewife.
I've only seen House Party on USA Up All Night.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'm interested in this guy. And then the synopsis, I didn't even realize it was Frank Perry when you picked it, because I was too busy making jokes about Rodney Dangerfield movies. So when I looked it up and found out it was Frank Perry and then read the plot synopsis, I got excited because it sounds really interesting.
The title, by the way, it comes from that nursery rhyme, Ladybug, Ladybug, Fly Away Home, which I wasn't super familiar with and didn't really understand the connection. But the nursery rhyme is Ladybug, Ladybug, Fly Away Home. Your house is on fire. Your children are gone. All except one. Her name is Anne. She is hid under the baking pan. So I guess there's some connection to be made there.
What the hell is wrong with these people who wrote these nursery rhymes?
Yeah. It's from 1744, so cut it some slack.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems kind of grim to me.
Yeah. For a second, I was like, wait, isn't that a band? Like, isn't that a Dayton band? But that's Fly Away Minion, not Fly Away Home.
Okay.
From the poem. I got it wrong. But yeah, so yeah. I'm glad you clarified that too, because I was like, there's not a single fucking ladybug in this whole movie. Like,
right.
What a weird name.
Well, like there's a point where a kid picks up a frog, and I thought it was like, oh, did he pick up a ladybug? Is that where we get the title? But no, it was a frog.
No. There's a frog, there's a dead squirrel.
Yep.
I think that's about it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the beginning of this is great. Like the way that they open it up and like that kind of like sudden chart, like, like the confusion and like the anxiety of like, why is this alarm going off? And like, saying, there's an air raid and like, is this fake? Is this real? Like, we got to go get the principal. We got to ask him about this. We got to call the company. Like that kind of like confusion is really interesting. It's like it kind of like puts you on edge immediately.
Yeah, and back like when you didn't have all the news and in the world at the access of your fingertips with your phone, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like now you could just look online, like on, you could look at either a real news source or just like Twitter online and like get this cleared up pretty quick.
Where are these real news sources that you're finding online?
The Hanford Sentinel.
Okay, fair enough.
Obviously, that's the only one.
That's my trusted news source.
Yep. And mine as well. But I mean, if there was like an air raid, I would imagine that most news sources today, shitty as they may be, would be covering that.
Yeah. Well, and if you're in the state of Hawaii, they might be covering it even when there isn't one.
Exactly.
You remember that false alarm they had a couple years back?
I do remember that. The Hanford Sentinel didn't report on that.
But I actually was thinking about that when I was watching this, is like, are we better off or worse off in terms of, being citizens and getting informed by the government as to what's happening in real time? Like, I don't know, actually. If there was a nuclear war that broke out, I don't know that we get an hour's notice like these people did.
I mean, I'd rather not know. Like,
yeah.
If I'm going to burn to death, in 10 seconds after the bomb drops, like, just fucking drop it on me. Like, what am I going to do? Like, try to get out of town and get stuck in stuck in some sort of a traffic jam and burn to death while fighting with people on the highway? Where would you rather burn to death, Sean? In your house comfortably or stuck on the grapevine? Like, just don't even tell me. Just let me die.
I think you're underestimating how much I have affection for Los Angeles area freeways.
Were you taking the back roads to get out?
No, I'm saying I would love to die on the 5 or the 405 or the 10 or the 110 or the 605. Man, bury me on the 60. I'm fine with that. I'll take any of these freeways.
I mean, that's a pretty good point. Like, what's that road where it's like you have to like get on the highway like and go 60 immediately or you die?
Oh, that's the 110. Yeah, the 110 anywhere north of downtown. I mean, I die on that every time I get on that freeway.
Yeah, I would die on that one just because it's silly. It'd be funny.
Oldest freeway in the country.
I love it. But yeah, so like all that's harrowing. I think it loses a little bit when everybody starts walking home, partly because, I mean, it sort of plays like a procedural, like it feels like like, I don't know, like a David Fincher thing or something at the beginning with like the kind of uncertainty and like the precision of people giving each other exposition in kind of a fast way at the beginning, and then it slows down when people leave the school. But then also like we started focusing on the kids a lot more too. Also because like, I mean, that, like it's kind of hard to buy into because it's just not my experience. Like I think if I was at school and we had some sort of a drill, like we wouldn't walk home, like, I mean, I guess we'd either get on a bus or like, I mean, I feel like we'd just stay on campus. Like, I don't know. I don't get the protocol for walking home, but I guess without it, there's no movie. So I don't know how accurate it is or if it's just like a construct for the movie itself. But some of these kids are good. It starts getting like a little, like it kind of shifts. I guess like once they just give you like the premise of the movie, it kind of shifts gears and is less that kind of like anxious. I mean, I get the anxiety stays, I guess, but like it's less procedural and more like philosophical. It goes from like being a David Fincher movie to being like a Linklater movie where everybody's just like waxing poetic about like what it might mean to die or whatever, like in a war, in a nuclear war. Some of these kids are also, I mean, I get that there's like a lot of different age groups here, but like some of them act like wildly young. Like there's like the one little girl who like goes home and her dad's like working and she just like starts slapping him and screaming and talking about, I'm scared. Like she seems like overly young, but then like some of the ones in the bomb shelter later seem like overly old. Like that one little girl's like, I'm convinced she was like 47 years old. Like,
well, that's the nature of kids, man. Some mature faster than others. Some kids are super mature. Some kids are super immature. And I think that's the point of this. It's like, this is how different people whether your kids or not, handle this kind of thing. Some people naturally become, real like strict and try to enforce rules. Some people lose their shit. Some people try to ignore it. Some people, and I think that's just kind of played out in the characters of each of these kids.
Yeah, I think the movie would be a little less interesting if everybody was the same age. I mean, you could do that version of this movie where it's like everybody's from the same exact class, and they're all the same age. But I think there is something here to like kind of replicating society at large, and like these kids are at different kind of social standings, and their interactions like in the bunker, I think, hinge on them being different ages,
Yeah, well, I think you guys are right. But I think within that, like the one girl in the bunker, like I feel like she's not acting like a mature preteen. She's acting like she's emulating adults with the way she's acting.
Well, and maybe she is. Yeah.
Kids do,
I mean,
and maybe she's trying to, because there's no adult there, emulate what she thinks an adult would do, because she's trying to fill that void and leadership that she's looking for, someone to tell her that things are going to be okay, or that there's rules.
It is her bunker after all.
Yeah.
Well, that part I agree with. I mean, I guess I'm just strictly talking about her performance. I thought it was like kind of a facsimile, sort of. I didn't like the performance. I get the character. The character's good. Okay.
You liked Harriet. You didn't like Alice Playten.
Yeah,
She's
there
the
you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, that's what I
Who would later go on to play anybody?
Uno.
Nobody?
I don't know.
No, she played BB Bluff, best friend of Patty Mayonnaise on Nickelodeon's Doug.
Ah, there you have it.
That purple-skinned, red-haired friend of Patty Mayonnaise that we all remember.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout-out to the kid who played Peter, whose real name, Bozo Dell.
Damn, why didn't they use that name for the movie?
Is it B-O-Z-O, or is it like B-O space?
Nope,
Zodell.
B-O-Z-O, like the clown.
Damn. All right, cool. I like that.
How would you like going through life with the name Bozo?
I probably would shorten it to just Bo, Then nobody would know.
Well, Bo knows.
Well, Bo always knows.
Yeah.
Sadly, Bozo Dell only appeared in one film, and that is Ladybug Ladybug. But it was the name that
we know
down.
of,
Yeah.
Let's not put it past Bo Zodell to have maybe done some porno work under a pseudonym eventually.
Possibly.
He might be the guy from Bat Pussy, for all we know.
Exactly.
10 years after this, he might have grown up.
So this whole movie was Forces of Evil on a Bozo nightmare.
All right.
It's a long way to go for that.
All right. But well, also to kind of piggyback on what you guys are saying about these kids and kind of like how to calm themselves or whatever, like they're projecting a more adult persona. Like, I mean, I think, the kids were probably like that still to a degree. Like, I mean, we only started recognizing like adolescents and teenagers in like the 50s, like, for all of recorded history until the 50s, people were babies and then like they turned 13 or 18 or whatever and were adults. Like there was no middle period. And so
half these kids were a couple years from fucking being drafted into the war,
Yeah. So taking that into consideration, it does like sort of make sense that these kids are like babies. Oh, and now these kids are adults. Like, so that might have still just like kind of been in the cultural zeitgeist at the time. But I like all the kid stuff, but I like it a lot less than the beginning stuff. Like I kind of wish this movie was more them. Like if this movie was more like akin to those scenes in like Night of the Living Dead, where they're like watching TV newscasts and trying to figure out what's going on and like talking to each other and be like, oh, did you go down to the diner? What did you see at the diner? Like, I feel like that would have been, like that's kind of what I like about this movie, and like seeing more of that would have been good. But I also get that that's not what the movie's going for.
Yeah, the movie leans away from that. I mean, when they encounter strangers on their trip, they don't speak to them. They don't engage and they don't share the news. They keep to themselves and just kind of mull over what this might mean.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to like critique this movie for what it isn't even trying to do, and like, you know, but I mean that's kind of what I would want it to do, I guess. But so yeah, I mean I mostly like this. It's like I don't know, maybe if I rewatch this, I'll like it a lot more. Kind of like being able to forgive it for not being what I want out of it. But I think it's good. Can I spoil a little bit of the ending here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that the ending is just the Halloween 3 ending. I think that that's super cool.
Or is the Halloween 3 ending the Ladybug Ladybug ending?
Ooh, really makes you think. Who are the real monsters here?
We didn't say that you could spoil the Halloween 3 ending, though.
Oh, spoiler alert for Halloween 3. But yeah, I like the, you know, turn it off ending. And it's a little on the nose, I guess, in this movie, but I like it. I think it's effective. But yeah, I mostly like this movie.
Well, speaking of turn it off, I thought that I had seen this movie. I was certain that I had seen this movie before because this was the B feature that played after last summer at the New Beverly in 2017. But I was shocked when I looked at my Letterboxd and saw I had never logged this before. And even then I was thinking, well, that must be a mistake. I remember seeing this at the New Beverly. I guess I just forgot to log it. And then I started watching this, and I remembered what happened is I had a bit of a migraine that night coming into Ladybug Ladybug. I think it maybe developed in the middle of last summer. And this movie starts with a scene where that alarm is going off, and it's making this shrieking, shrill, buzzing noise for several minutes. And I didn't know when the hell this thing was going to end. And I was just ready to call it a night. So I had seen the first 5 minutes of this before. And in my mind, I just forgot that I had never gotten around to finishing it. So thanks, Kevin, for picking this and giving me that opportunity to finally finish this thing.
I'm righting the wrongs of history here.
Exactly. And, you know, I was expecting this to be a heavy time at the movies, and it certainly is. You know, I think Cold War, nuclear panic stuff hits me pretty hard usually, but having these kids process all of these things on screen, I think makes it all the more powerful. Maybe that's a bit of a hack, you know, to have kids delivering these lines, but they are very powerful. Like when a kid in this asks his mom if God made the bomb, I mean, that's pretty subversive and challenging stuff for 1963. And I thought all the kids did a good job. Hopefully none of them got too depressed making this movie, but it was fun to see a younger version of William Daniels as the teacher. I thought he was really good in this. Kind of sad that he bails from the movie after like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Would have been cool if he came back, but I feel like Bowman, I think on the whole, where the beginning of this is better than the ending, although the very ending is kind of interesting. It does kind of lose steam in that second half. Yeah, overall, you know, it's a nice enough looking movie. I was kind of surprised that this was a widescreen presentation because some of the framing in this looked a little bit weird, like maybe it was composed for 4:3. But it's, you know, crisply photographed, nice use of real locations in this. Not a perfect movie, but still a fairly bold attempt to kind of deconstruct the nuclear threat of the day. And I think still has a lot of emotional impact. I mean, these are still real threats that plague our society to this day. I think we all like to pretend like the Cold War is over or that nuclear annihilation is no longer a threat, but I don't subscribe to you know, those ideas of complacency. I think they're very much still active threats in our lives. So
yeah, well, and also watching this, you're kind of starkly reminded that there are many parts of the world where children not only live with the fear of this, but the reality of it, where, you know, they see actual bombings and people dying, you know, as part of their reality. So
yeah, I mean, people in Ukraine have been dealing with that now for I don't know how many years, and it's not exclusive to there, you know.
Sure.
So an important movie, still has a lot of power. Is it perfect? No, but considering this is like I don't know, is this Frank Perry's first movie or maybe his second movie? a young director working with minimal resources put together a pretty effective little thriller here. So yeah, check it out if you've never seen Ladybug Ladybug. Definitely check it out.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think that just about wraps up Ladybug Ladybug from 1963. Shout out to Bozo Dell, wherever you are. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get into our second feature of the evening, and that is Cannonball Run II from 1983, so stick around.
What do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging dare? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Cannonball. Hey, now cannonball. 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 Cannonball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the popcorn's in the lobby, and the nuts are on the screen. You wanted it, you got it. Cannonball Run II. And this time, there's no limit. No limit to the lunacy. No limit to the chaos. No limit to the stars. Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise. What a team. Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Jamie Farr, Mary Lou Henner, Telly Savalas, and Shirley MacLaine. Susan Anton, Catherine Bach, Buster Brooks, Sid Caesar, Jackie Chan, Tim Conway, Tony Danza, Jack Elam, Richard Keel, Con Knotts, Ricardo Montalban, Jim Neighbors, Charles Nelson Riley, $9 million, Joe Theismann, Mel Tillis, weird, Abe Vigoda, Frank Sinatra. At last comes the motion picture from the greatest book of traffic citations ever written. Cannonball Run II.
Welcome back to the Junk Fod Dinner. The movie we're talking about now is Cannonball Run Part 2. This movie is also directed by Hal Needham, much like the first one, which we talked about last time. This one kind of picks up where the last one ended, where these folks participate in this cannonball race to go from one end of America to another. A bunch of weird, eclectic, bizarre individuals in all manner of cool vehicles that look cool on screen, and also some weird vehicles that don't really look that great, but are silly. The last one ended with the race being over, and Adrienne Barbeau and some other foxy lady winning. Spoiler alert, I guess, for that first one. And this one kind of picks up. I think these characters, the foxy ladies in this movie, I should have looked it up. They're the same characters, right? Just played by different people.
Yeah, Adrienne Barbeau is not back.
Yeah, Adrienne Barbeau is not back, but she is.
But Baby's got back.
Yes. This is supposed to be the same character though. So Adrienne Barbeau and whoever the other lady were are not back. Instead, Adrienne Barbeau is replaced with Catherine Bach of the Dukes of Hazzard. Some kind of a lateral change, I would say. She's cool.
The titties aren't as rude.
Titties aren't as rude, but this was 1984. We were getting into butts as a culture. So
I think it's very generous to call this a lateral move, but okay.
I mean, I was a big Dukes fan growing up, so I don't know what to tell you. Those of us who liked the Dukes will consider this a lateral move. I love Adrienne Barbeau, though. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, it starts out with her and her partner kind of zooming across the desert. And then the Sheik character, played by Jamie Farr of MASH.
Toledo, Ohio's own.
Yeah. He says that he wants to do a new race. He's going to put up $1 million in prize money for whoever wins this race after having just completed the other one. So a bunch of the people come back. We got Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise coming back. Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. coming back for the race. Jackie Chan's back at it. This time he's teaming up with the guy who plays Jaws in James Bond. That one James Bond movie.
Not just one. I think he's in a few.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
he was a recurring villain.
He's also in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
You know?
And a handful of horror movies.
Yeah. So in addition to all those, returning wacky racers, we also have a bunch of new fun cameos by people who mostly play cops and gangsters. Amidst this race across the country for the money, these people run afoul of the law and they run afoul of gangsters, which kind of tie into what might constitute as a plot, I guess. Some of those people being, of course, we got Sid Caesar playing Fisherman number 2. We got Sean's favorite Tim Conway here as a CHP officer. Jack Lamb comes back as the doc, of course, in a short cameo. Jim Nabors,
but now he's riding with the Sheik for some reason. Not Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise.
Yeah. I think he was maybe, opting for the easier work schedule at his age.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Also, Dom DeLuise and Burt Reynolds needed room for Shirley MacLaine and Mary Lou Henner.
Oh, yeah,
right.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are essentially they're both replacing Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah. You need two ladies to replace Farrah Fawcett. That makes sense. They pretend to be nuns to kind of cheat in this race. It's very fun. We got Charles Nelson Riley shows up, a guy I know mostly from Dead Milkmen lyrics. Don Knotts plays a CHP officer. Ricardo Montalban is here. We got Jim Neighbors. Alex Rocco plays one of the heavies. Abe Vigoda fucking shows up. Pretty much everybody.
Don't forget Telly Savalas.
Of course, Telly Savalas is in this. He actually, that's more than a cameo. He's like one of the main guys in this.
Although,
kind of heavy.
Pretty underutilized. It's usually his fucking henchmen that are getting the screen time. I'm wanting more Telly.
Yeah. And speaking of more, there's less of Moore in this. And by that, I mean Roger Moore, who does not appear.
That's right.
Roger Moore's, another standout from the first one that doesn't show back up. So tons of people in this. Frank Sinatra is also here in a funny scene.
Also,
Blue Eyes?
Tony Danza, who I call Blue Eyes.
Yeah, Danza, of course, is driving. I think he's like back with like the rednecky guy from part one. I think that's who that is. And
the joke is they're like cousins. One's a hick and one's from Brooklyn. Can you believe it?
Yeah, he makes a lot of funny, like, I'm from New York jokes. Like, there's a scene where, like, they're fighting again in, like, the big climactic fight. And he's like, oh, this reminds me of the Bronx or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and then there's that one scene where he brings the wrong salsa to the table. They got a rope.
Yeah, and then that one weird reference, I mean, a lot of people probably didn't understand it at the time, but he said Jalen Brunson will lead us to an NBA title in 2026. People very ahead of its timeline. New Yorkers are very proud of that, man. Is what I need to say. What are you doing? What are you doing? You think your jokes are better than mine, Sean Byron?
Sometimes. Not always.
Not that time.
Usually.
Not that Jalen Brunson joke. That was a good one.
I just feel threatened because I don't know what that means as a non-sports fan. I don't even... who is this guy? He's a basketball guy?
The Knicks won the championship just like 2 weeks ago.
I know the Showtime Lakers. That's all I know.
There's no Lakers in this movie. And there's no lakes in L.A.
No.
Just so you know.
And there's no music in Utah.
So this movie, Telly Savalas, speaking of good jokes, Telly Savalas has a really good joke in this where he meets up with a guy named Don, and he goes, Don, I'll call you Dum Dum. And like everybody starts laughing. Like all the characters are laughing. I like that. Dom DeLuise, he shows up in like his costume that him and Burt Reynolds are going to do to try to trick people into letting them win this race. And he says, I look like a turd. And that's fine. I wish I would have got a drop of that. It's a funny thing to say.
Now, was it just me, or was Dom DeLuise a little more effeminate this time around than in the previous installment?
A little bit. He's only, I think, Captain Chaos one time in this one, whereas he did it like 3 or 4 times in the last one.
To be fair, it is tough to look masculine standing next to Burt Reynolds, right?
I'm just talking about in the performance. I think they kind of wrote him a little light in the loafers in this one.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's true. I mean, everything in this movie is like much sillier than last time, I think. So that very well could be. And I imagine him and Burt Reynolds were probably just like goofing off. Like,
yeah, playing grab ass with each other when the cameras were off.
Pretty much, yeah. Dom DeLuise also does a thing in this movie where he like blesses himself and like does like the thing, like the Catholic thing to bless yourself before grabbing a chili dog. And I think that that's really respectable. There's an ongoing joke about like a fake Congressional Medal of Honor with Dom DeLuise and Burt Reynolds that I think is pretty funny. The Bigfoot monster truck shows up in this for a minute. That's pretty cool. That's very 84. And all that to say that in this movie, Don Knotts kisses a monkey. So I love this movie. I think this movie is very fun. I think it's better than the first one. And okay. And it's very silly, very silly. I think if you like the first one, you will at least like this one. It's a silly, good time, the kind of movie they don't really make anymore. What do you guys think about this?
I think we must contact the folks at Letterboxd and engage them in a thorough analysis, because I feel like you got to be the only guy on the planet that ranks this above the first one, right? There's nobody else that has that opinion.
Let me see. This one has a 2.6 average. It has 7 fans, whatever that means. Oh, does that, like, I think that's the people who put it in their top 4.
Yeah, which that's a wild opinion. Only the most try-hard person would be doing that.
If you're putting it in your, I mean, I like this movie, but I'm not putting.
That's a Quentin Tarantino best of the year list type of maneuver, right? You know.
Yeah. Let's see. Part 1 has an average of 3.0 with 98 fans. Both of them, though, have 7.3 thousand likes. So everybody who likes Part 1 likes Part 2, but Part 1 is rated slightly higher, I guess. These are basically the same movie. I can't imagine being mad at the idea of liking Part 2 more than Part 1. It's basically the same fucking movie, except
you'd already seen the first one by the time you'd seen this one. So seeing basically the same movie again, but with maybe a lesser cast and lesser jokes and a more rushed feeling overall.
This cast is objectively better. Did you not hear Telly Savalas?
Roger Moore. I mean, I like Telly Savalas and all, but I mean, come on, dude. Roger Moore was the best part of the first movie by far.
Well, maybe. But I mean, all right, so you're trading Adrienne Barbeau and Roger Moore for Telly Savalas, Don Knotts, Tim Conway. Like, come on, you love Tim Conway.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I had kind of the opposite experience with this movie where I thought that I had not watched this movie at all. I was certain, I've never seen Cannonball Run II. I think I might have even said this when we reviewed the first one a month ago on the show, that I was looking forward to seeing Cannonball Run II finally. And then I come to load this up on my damn Apple TV, and the thing on the progress bar is showing me 48 minutes into the movie. I apparently bailed on this the prior time I tried to watch this, which would have been right after I watched the first one for the first time, which was only a few months ago. And I was like, is that right? Could that be right? And then I started playing it. And right away I was like, oh yeah, I remember trying to get through this before. And, it opens up with all this, probably fairly racist Arab stuff that is like not very entertaining at all. And yeah, I mean, I feel like overall this is definitely a movie that I would not have ever chosen to reach the finish line on unless you forced me to. Not that I hated it, but it is just more of the same, but just not as good. And I don't know, like, the lack of Roger Moore really is a big problem for me, but also just everything that they try and replicate seems to not have the same magic that it had. Like, probably my second favorite part of the first movie was the blooper reel at the end of the movie, which they do here as well. But I don't know, just something about it feels less organic. Like, I really strongly got the vibe watching this blooper reel on this movie that people were like trying to do stupid things to get into the blooper reel. And that's not nearly as funny as somebody, with a lack of self-awareness, getting into a blooper situation. And I don't know, the movie just seems very lazy. Like, all of the driving, I think, is in between LA and Vegas. So it's not like they even give you much of the country to look at in terms of locations. There's a ton of off-screen ADR that doesn't even sound like it was recorded on the same planet as the rest of the movie, which is like kind of shocking. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult to dub in lines when you're not even showing an actor's face, but they can't manage to make that work in this movie. There's that animation towards the end from Ralph Bakshi, which sounds like a selling point until you see it. And it's like 2 seconds of a static map with some arrows pointing in one direction or the other. Like, it's calling it animation is an extreme stretch, and I can't believe that they even paid the guy for it. And overall, it's just a thing where, like, you expect this to be action-packed, like Cannonball Run 2. Okay, we've figured out the formula, so let's, crank up the intensity, make it action-packed, but it's not that at all, man. Like, it's kind of remarkable to me that there's a movie here that has a 10-minute fight scene with like 10 different characters in it that we know, like they're named characters, not anonymous, like a big fight scene, tons of people, and yet it's like 100% boring. Like, I don't even know how you do that. Like, it doesn't feel like that should be possible, but it is. And I don't know, there are a few things that I like in this movie. I think putting Tony Danza together with an orangutan is fun casting because they look kind of similar, you know, so that's fun. And I like Mary Lou Henner. I think she's charming, and this movie didn't change my opinion of her. It did maybe make me like Burt Reynolds a little bit less. And to be honest, I'm not that crazy about him to begin with. But I just found him kind of annoying in this. I did like the monster truck. Was it Bigfoot, I think? That was cool to see that. And the helicopter footage looked decent in this. There's that cool helicopter that's kind of like all glass, like it's all windows, and so it just looks kind of cool on screen. The car stunts in this are not that good. I don't know. It's like just a lot of like cars driving into lakes, and you're like, that doesn't even look that dangerous. Like I could probably do that stunt, you know? And I don't know. I don't know why Jackie Chan's rocket car has 2 video screens inside when they're both showing the same angle of the action outside the vehicle. Seems like probably only need 1 screen for that. And I don't know why Dom DeLuise and his superhero character seem like they're trying to get famous in the world of Italian comedies. Like it almost seems like the dude doesn't know that he's in an American picture, like this weird kind of broad comedic acting that he's doing. I kept expecting like Bud Spencer and a topless lady to show up or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess we should grade this movie on a curve because these are all very old people. Jack Elam looks like he's about to pass away at any moment. I'm certain that he shouldn't be out in the sunlight at his age.
I think I read somewhere that every single person in this movie is now dead.
I would believe it. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I mean, they are all very old, dude.
I think Danza might be one of the few survivors.
Yeah. Danza and Jackie Chan.
And Mary Lou Henner.
I mean, Burt Reynolds.
I think everyone else is dead, though.
Reynolds is getting foxy in this with Shirley MacLaine, who is, I think, 50 plus. And she looks great for her age, but it is kind of striking to see a movie where like one of the main attractive women in it is 50 plus. Very strange.
Yeah, it's weird to see Burt Reynolds with an age-appropriate woman.
Yeah, well, and that was not the case with Dean Martin in his scene where wrinkly old Dean Martin looking like a walking mummy is making out with some poor like 25-year-old model. That was a bit skin crawling, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. Like there's a scene in this where Jackie Chan is in his car playing around with his video screen, and it's a callback to the original movie. In the original movie, he's watching Behind the Green Door on the TV. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool, actually. To see that in a movie, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. In this, he's playing the terrible Atari 2600 port of Pac-Man.
The worst.
And it just feels like a visual metaphor for the movie as a whole, you know? Like, if I'm going to watch one of these two things, it's going to be the one where Jackie Chan's watching Behind the Green Door on his TV in his little rocket car. And it's never going to be the one where he's playing Pac-Man on Atari 2600. But I guess I'm glad that I crossed it off the list. But I would say if you're going to pick one Cannonball Run, it's definitely not this one.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say it, I do have to agree with Sean on this one. This does feel like just a lesser version of the first one. If nothing else, it, like you said, it's almost just a complete rehash of the first one. It does a lot of the same gags, has a lot of the same, jokes and people and just scenarios where it just feels like a total rehash of the first one. So, I mean, whether or not one's better than the other, it's kind of irrelevant. It's kind of like if you've seen one, you've seen them both. I think you should be charged maybe a pick for making us watch essentially the same movie 2 months in a row.
Oh, I like this. I like this line of questioning.
No. You can watch these a month apart. That's fine.
Just don't even think about making us watch Speed Zone.
Oh, we're going to be watching Speed Zone.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing a double feature of both of these back to back. That would be horrendous.
Yeah, that would be a little much.
I mean, much like the first one, and like I said last month, I didn't love the first one. There was some entertaining gags. It was fun to see, you know, some of the cameos and some of the hijinks. But overall, to me, it did feel very corny, very dated. And the same can be said about this one. It's a lot of the same, like I said. And yeah, Burt Reynolds sucks as always. I'm sorry, I just don't like the guy. I don't like the Rat Pack shit. So, like I said, Frank Sinatra showing up in this, that's a thumbs down for me. That might be a selling point for some people, but
I'm actually kind of curious. When did Bowman ever give a shit about the Rat Pack? That doesn't seem like it's in character for this kid that grew up, you know, a little punk rocker.
I mean, I don't really care like a whole lot about them. Like, I think they're kind of fun in these movies. I like that original Ocean's 11. I don't know. There's a Dean Martin song in the Fallout New Vegas soundtrack that's pretty good, but like I don't really enjoy them like much outside of all this. Like, they just happen to be in this movie that I like.
All right.
But on the plus side, I did like the Jackie Chan fight scenes, of course. Again, that was another highlight in this one, as it was in the first one. Mary Lou Henner, like you mentioned, and Shirley MacLaine are both pretty fun and charming in this. And I thought they were a welcome addition. So that's all well and good. And yeah, there's a few jokes here and there, and a few things get a little more risque in this one. I think there's a woman that like flashes on the side of the road, even though she's got pasties on her nips.
And they cut away so quick. I tried to measure it. I think it's less than a half-second shot.
Yeah. But, you know, some cool cars, some cool... And like you said, with how Needham, you expect this to have some serious stunt work, which there are some car crashes and things, but not nearly to the point of, you know, what you'd expect from stuntman extraordinaire Hal Needham. But still some, and when they are on screen, they're entertaining. But yeah, overall, if you've seen the first one, you can probably skip this one, or if you've seen this one, you can probably skip the first one. They're pretty interchangeable. I don't think it's as good as the first one, just because, you know, like Sean mentioned, if for no other reason, it is just kind of a rehash. But I'll say the same thing I said about the last one. It's, you know, if it's on a Saturday afternoon and you're just kind of looking for something in the background to occasionally pay attention to when there's something fun going on screen, it does the trick. But yeah, nothing you need to rush out to add to your collection.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Those of us who like Don Knotts will appreciate this film.
Hey, I love Don Knotts, but
you would have preferred,
but not Don.
Not Dum Dum.
You would have preferred if that CHP officer was Norman Fell.
Well, absolutely. He would have been making some crazy faces.
That's true. All right. Well, fair enough. All right. Well, that's Cannonball Run 2. And we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the mermaids. So stick around.
Blue navy blue, 私はネイビーブルー。彼を乗せた船は海の彼方。手紙を書くよと約束して。彼はネイビーブルーネイビーブルー私はネイビーブルー昨日あの人から手紙来たのいつも愛し であるのでも物足りないのよそばにいたいブルーネイビーブルー私はネイビーブルー遥か海に向かい彼の名呼ぶネイビーブルーのセーラーがよく似合う彼早く帰ってきてね待っているのブルーネイビーブルー私はネイビーブルーあなたがいないから一人ぼっちネイビーブルーのセーラーがよく似合う彼早く帰ってきてね待っているのブルーネイビーブルー私はネイビーブルーブルーネイビーブルー私はネイビーブルー
海の底にはな恨みがぎょうさん沈んどりますのや
どうせ気違いや
人魚伝説
Welcome back to Junk Food Dinner. The final movie on the show this week is Mermaid Legend from 1984. This movie was directed by Toshiharu Ikeda, the guy that we know for directing Evil Dead Trap. At this time, he was just a young director coming out of the Nikatsu Roman porno system. And he was offered this gig by the Directors Company, probably my favorite producer of Japanese movies, at least in the 1980s. They produced things like Bumpkin Soup that we reviewed on the show, The Crazy Family, which is a really good one that I like, Typhoon Club, all kinds of interesting movies that kind of sit at the intersection of like art films and exploitation films. This one, Mermaid Legend, I came across a couple years ago when I was working on my Avalanches movie. And I really liked it, and I thought there was a good chance at least one of you two guys would also really enjoy it. So I do want to give my standard spoiler alert. Please go see Mermaid Legend before I ruin this movie. I will talk about some fairly spoilery things for this movie. So go see it. Thankfully, it's very easy to go see this movie. It's on, I think, all of the major streamer platforms. I think it's even on Shudder for free if you have a Shudder account. It's also on Blu-ray in the UK via Third Window Films, and in the US through somebody called Error 4444. 4 4s. It's 4 4s in a row. Error 4444, who I don't really know much about, but thankful that they put this movie on Blu-ray. So seriously, go in blind if you can. But otherwise, we're going to start talking about this movie. The title kind of makes it sound like it's a fantasy story, Mermaid Legend, or maybe even like a period piece, but it is set in the modern real world of 1984. And it's set in a small Japanese fishing village, as pretty much all of the good stories are. The important players in the story involve Migiwa and Keisuke. They are newlyweds and kind of like a tag team of clam fishing, where she's like a clam diver. She dives down under the water to gather, I think, abalones are the type of clams that she's getting down there. And her husband is driving the boat, and he also runs the line for her. So she's down there diving, and then he'll pull the rope up to bring her back up to the surface. Also in the story is a guy named Shohei, not Otani, but rather just a regular dude in this fisherman's village, who is a close friend of Keisuke. His dad is a perhaps evil businessman who is getting involved with some land development schemes. Because Keisuke, by the way, is a kind of a drunk bastard, but maybe it's justified because his town is being taken over by these greedy land developers, and his way of life as a fisherman is being threatened. Things get even worse, though, when he witnesses these evil business dudes killing another one of the fishermen who got in their way, which ends up getting him murdered as well. And I kind of love these movies where somebody witnesses a murder and nobody believes them, and then they get sucked into a larger plot against their will. It's a very Hitchcockian sort of construction. And I think initially when you're watching this, you think maybe he's going to be doing the investigation, at least maybe for a bit longer than he actually does, because pretty soon after getting sucked into this kind of conspiracy, he is just killed in this harrowing scene where he gets like a harpoon through the chest. Anyways, his wife, Migiwa, she survives and plans to get vengeance for the killing of her husband. And we'll talk more later about that vengeance, I'm sure, but just wanted to talk a little bit generally first. Overall, I think this movie looks great. It uses a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is, I think, fairly memorable. That's one of the things that stuck in my mind about the experience of watching this movie, since the first time I watched it a couple years back or whatever, was just the confining aspect ratio of 4:3, and the way that it kind of, I don't know, makes you feel claustrophobic and just kind of fits the mood perfectly. There's also some very nicely photographed underwater diving scenes, which I have to imagine are very difficult to shoot. And the small town itself is captured very nicely, especially with these outdoor night scenes that never feel overlit, but are also fully legible at the same time. There's a lot of great visual storytelling in this. Like there's that bit after Migiwa washes ashore after her husband has been killed, and she pulls in the rope that's attached to her waist, that normally he would be on the other side of the rope. And there's just a little bit where she like kind of looks down at the frayed end of the rope, and you really feel that loss of like, oh yeah, like she just lost this guy that was, really her lifeline in a lot of ways. I got to be honest, I enjoyed this movie even more the second time. I really liked it the first time, but I think knowing where the story is going to go and knowing, how that revenge is going to look on screen creates like a sense of anticipation that makes the first half of this movie actually better than it felt the first time that I watched it. And I love the way that the story kind of ramps up. You know, it starts off pretty mellow, but every scene really adds to the tension, and not in like a repetitive way where like, I feel like sometimes movies that we see as being tense are also sort of repetitive. You know, sometimes they'll set up a scenario and then you're just kind of hammering on that same scenario over and over again. You know, a movie like Night of the Living Dead, very tense, but also it's, you know, it's a bit repetitive in that we're in one place and we're just kind of staving off an attack over and over again. Not so with this movie. This is a movie that really does kind of go from beat to beat and introduce new ideas with almost every scene. It doesn't really stay in the same locations for too long. And yet somehow it's able to continuously escalate that tension, which I think is pretty impressive stuff. Part of that is I think all of the actors in this do a great job. This lead actress puts a ton of herself into the role, both, you know, in terms of it's, you know, there's a lot of nudity and stuff like that in this role, but just also emotionally, you know, she seemed very committed. Oh, what else about this? There's some really cool Japanese folk music on the soundtrack and a very memorable main theme that gets repeated throughout the movie in different kind of orchestrations and arrangements that I thought was fun. I like when they do that. Anyhow, I say watch this movie. If you've never seen it, like I said, it's pretty easy to get access to these days. I think this is the perfect season to watch this movie. If you're feeling hot and sweaty, if you're thinking about going down to the beach, maybe go down to the beach, but also maybe put on Mermaid Legend and just feel like you've been transported to this scenic yet frightening environment of, I think it's Shima Prefecture, Japan. Because, I think this movie is a real winner. It's a shame this didn't take off in the American midnight movie scene. I think in an alternate universe, we could have all grown up knowing this movie in the way that we knew The Evil Dead. If this had the right distributor, I think this could have blown minds at the American cinemas in the mid-'80s. But they didn't really get that chance, sadly. Also sad is the footnote that the director, Toshiharu Ikeda himself, died in a drowning in these very same waters in, I think, about the year 2010, age 59, in what was probably a suicide, but who knows? Maybe he had uncovered some nuclear power plant secrets and was killed for it.
Or maybe he took Linda Blair's advice and just went down to the beach to commit suicide.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. But it does make me feel like maybe he himself had a close connection to this movie, considering he seemingly chose to die in the same way as some of the characters in this movie. But anyhow, I really loved Mermaid Legend, was glad to revisit it. And I think that this is a movie that I plan on watching many times more in my life. I look forward to seeing this movie again and sharing it with more people, especially because, man, the last hour of this thing is a fucking ripper. But what did you guys think about Mermaid Legend?
I had never seen this movie before, never even heard of this movie. So I was excited to check it out. Like you mentioned, the title and the fact that this was on Shudder made me think this was going to be some like fantasy horror movie about an actual mermaid. But no, that was not the case. It's an interesting movie because I feel like it has elements of other kind of exploitation movies that we have seen before, but in a different kind of pacing and context. Like this kind of has ostensibly the kind of plot that you would typically see, like maybe in like a Japanese pinky violence movie. A woman scorned. There's some rape. There's some revenge. But it's not done in kind of that way. It's not a Miss 45 kind of movie, although again, you could make parallels. And it's also not really, I don't know, it kind of falls, it's like not really like a Yakuza thing, although there are Yakuza elements, but it doesn't feel like a typical like Yakuza crime thriller either. I don't know if it's just the pacing or the way that it's done, but it is unique in that way.
There's almost a spiritual aspect to
absolutely.
These killings, which is such a weird thing to say, but it feels like she's like cleansing herself spiritually when she eventually, you know, gets some of her revenge.
Right. Which I think, I mean, I like this movie, but your claim that this could have possibly had an audience like the Evil Dead movies, I think is a bit of a wild claim. Because I think it is a little, it's not as flashy as something like that, and I don't think it would have the wide appeal of something like that. It's a good movie.
You don't think the climax would get people talking?
No, because again, I think there's flashier movies like that, like a Miss 45 or some of the other like Pinky Violence movies. I mean, it's flashy in the sense that there's a lot of blood spurt, but it's not. I don't know. It doesn't have the same joie de vivre as some of the other, you know, revenge movies that.
But none of them have like a single revenge sequence that goes on for like 45 minutes where like the title character kills like 100 people on screen. I mean, I think it's pretty unique.
It's pretty unique, but it's, to be honest, that kind of got a little, I don't know. I thought it was a little overdone.
Oh, too much violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't like super choreographed or like, I don't know. It felt, you know, it was good. It was impactful, but it felt, I don't know. It felt like a little, it lingered a little too long and kind of diminished it for me. But that being said, overall, I did like this movie. I agree with you. Good performances. I think the main actress, what's her name? Mari Shirato. She does a great job in this. I think she's fantastic. Really conveys, you know, just like the grief and the despair of her world after her husband's killed and having to kind of, you know, go off the grid, live on this island. And then she kind of sees an opportunity for revenge, and that just kind of consumes her, and that becomes her whole thing. I do kind of get the title. I mean, you know, she is known for her underwater prowess. She can hold her breath for a long time, and that comes into play not only with her, you know, and her husband harvesting those clams, but also, you know, there are multiple times in this movie where she's forced to be underwater, or holding her breath saves her life in some regard. But yeah, it has a methodical pace to it. It does. It's not as flashy. It's not as like, you know, action packed as some of the other movies in a revenge genre like this that you'd expect. But again, I think that works well for this, and kind of sets it apart, kind of makes it a little bit more art house and a little less grindhouse. But overall, I mean, I think it was an interesting watch. I'm glad I watched it. I think it did pick up. Like, I think the ending does really kind of bring it up a notch, because to be completely honest, it was starting to kind of meander a little bit in the middle because of that slow, methodical pace. It also has some stuff that's a little bit of a bummer, like, you know, when the Shohei guy rapes her and then she kind of starts to like it. You know, it's Japan. I get it. That's their thing. But
again, in Japan, that's, you know, kind of common.
Bug me. Did your guys have the weird blue dot over the vagina?
Oh yeah, that's the standard practice.
Yeah,
I think that's burned into like the negative at this point.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. And you know, again, you know, you really do feel this woman's pain and grief and affliction. So, I mean, I get the the dramatic reasoning for some of the stuff. But yeah, by the end of this movie, she is a broken woman, and obviously that's kind of the point. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an impactful movie. Definitely one that I think is worth seeing. I did see that the American Genre Film Archive currently has this available for theatrical screening. So I think this would be a fun one to see with an audience. I guess fun might be the wrong word, but an interesting one to see with an audience. Just overall, very well shot, looks good. Like I said, kind of slow, a little methodical, but the ending, it does turn it up, both in the excitement and the blood factor. So, yeah, I would say check out Mermaid Legend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll agree with Kevin on pretty much everything. The ending is very fun. I agree. It probably goes on a little too long. It's a little sloppy. It's not.
Yeah, it's not like super choreographed, and it does feel like towards the end, there's like not hardly any blood splatter. It just feels like a woman poking people with a stick at the end.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Some of the parts of that, I mean, it's, like I said, it's several minutes long where she's just going on and just stabbing people over and over again. And
pretty indiscriminately, like she's stabbing women and kids and stuff. It's like,
and it's these long unbroken takes that are like 3-4 minutes long or something. And it does feel like for some of the murders, like just the blood gurgling sound effect is doing all of the heavy lifting. But they are really good blood gurgling sound effects. So if you like those, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, those sound effects are good. But yeah, like if it, I mean, this would be a slightly different movie, but like, yeah, if some of those kills had, better effects and stuff, like if there were like, arms falling off and, if it was something like the end of Kill Bill or something where there's like, they're just really reveling in the violence rather than just sort of like, because it's like, it's not exactly like.
I mean, but you need to grade on a curve of like, this is a 1984 relatively low budget, what you thought was a drama up until that point. It's friggin' bloody as hell, dude. Like this is like pretty over the top. Right? Am I crazy?
I don't know. I feel like it's not over the top enough to be over the top, and it's not grounded enough to be grounded. Like it's in this weird middle place where it just needs to do something.
Huh. Okay.
But yeah, you're right. It is a drama for most of it. Which like the drama part of it's like fine and good. I feel like we've been doing a lot of Japanese dramas lately, so I was like a little like tuned out just because like we've done a lot. It seems like. And also I had no idea like where this movie was going. So like I was like, I don't know, is this just gonna be like a drama the whole time, or are we gonna get to like some surreal weirdness, or is there gonna be a monster? Like what
are we gonna go to outer space for no reason in the final minute of the movie?
Yeah. So yeah, like
I did pick this kind of as a follow-up to Lake of Illusions, thinking that maybe this would be the more visceral revenge movie that you were looking for.
Yeah, I mean there is that aspect of it. Yeah, I like the spiritual stuff. I like all the lip service to like Buddha crying his black tears and whatever else is going on. Like that stuff was fun. You guys are right. It does feel like, yeah, like the murder is like spiritual or something. Or like that, yeah, it's like, it's like spiritually okay to be doing these murders or something. Like I kind of like that aspect of it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like a lot of drama and a lot of, Japanese rape stuff, which we get a lot of. It's very common, like Kevin mentioned.
I'm a fan of Japanese movies.
To get that kind of stuff in these Japanese revenge dramas. And yeah, there's 2 pretty long scenes of that in this movie that, probably don't need to be there. But
it makes the revenge all the more sweet,
I mean, yeah, I get that. But the revenge would have been sweet without it, though.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like that ending is pretty fun. So, I mean, it's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
Well, I think you guys are underselling this a little bit. I mean, if you ask me, I would say not since Jason Takes Manhattan have we seen a more vicious slasher emerge from the murky depths, you know?
I mean, that's probably accurate.
That was my pull quote that I tried to get put on the poster, but nobody wanted it. I will say, you know, of all the gnarly things that happen in the second half of this movie, we didn't even mention the fact that this woman cooks up a breakfast of you know, grilled clams using the embers of the fire that she just used to burn her husband's corpse. Seems like a food safety violation at a minimum.
What, you've never had corpse clams?
Not yet. I didn't know that they were available in my local area.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Yeah, maybe we should go out and look. All right, well, I think that is probably all we got to say about Mermaid Legend. Like I said before, if you haven't seen it, it's easy to go stream, so go stream it. I think it's a cool one. And probably won't be the last time that we hear from Toshiharu Ikeda, so stay tuned for more picks from him. But like I said, yeah, that's about all we got for Mermaid Legend, so we will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take revenge against all of the evil corporations that have wronged us, so stick around.
All right, well, that just about wraps up episode number 701 of Junk Food Dinner. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. If you like the show, make sure you visit our website, junkfooddinner.com, for all your favorite episodes of not only Junk Food Dinner, but Junk Food Supper, easily chronicled for your listening pleasure. With that said, make sure you tune in to Junk Food Supper every week in between monthly episodes of Junk Food Dinner. And if you really want to be involved in the Junk Food Dinner community, the best place to do that is on our Discord page. So if you are familiar with the Discord app, search for Junk Food Dinner. Come on in, join us, and talk about movies, music, whether Halloween should be celebrated in June or not, and all the hot topics that you want to discuss. You can also let your thoughts be known by giving us a call on the Junk Food Dinner voicemail line at 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Or, of course, you can send us an email at jfdpodcast@gmail.com. But where's the fun in that? Let your voice be heard and give us a call on the voicemail line. Next month, I should say, episode 702, we will be looking at The Outfit from 1973, The Lost World from 1925, and Train to Busan from 2016. So make sure you tune in for that. So until next time, this is Kevin Moss for Parker Bowman and Sean Byron saying adios, everybody. We will see you next time.
Hell yeah.
Very nice.